What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Slam Nest Podcast. I'm your host, Superhero Joe, joined by my fellow co-host, Chiplet6, my boy, YT Ekis, and our gracious moderator and supporting dad role, as always, Dopehead Dennis, a.k.a. It Is What It Is 98. What's up, boys? How y'all doing?
Chilling.
But
Episode 5. We in there. I think this is episode 5. I honestly can't remember, but we're in there.
yeah, me either. Honestly, I can't remember, but close enough.
Yeah, something like that. Big topic. Live shows. It's a topic we've talked about before. Me and Dennis have a few shows lined up that we're going to get ready to go and see. Dennis already got to go see the Left to Suffer Boundaries and Body Snatcher show that recently launched their tour or whatever. And Dennis had quite the experience going to go see them. And for those of you who don't know, Dennis is not much of I don't know, would you call you a mosher? I don't know, what would you call it? Not really that hardcore in the pit.
Not really. I'm usually just the dude on the outside, pushing everybody back in.
Yeah, just your fist out, like fuck away from me.
Yeah.
So me on the other hand, I've definitely been in those pits. I've been very active in that scene. But I wanted to start today's podcast going over like Dennis's experience seeing a pretty aggressive hardcore show compared to the other shows you've seen, which are usually a little bit more, I wouldn't call it poppier, but a little bit more laid back or a little bit more chill. So I wanted to start with that today. I wanted to know about the brutalness of it all.
Yeah, no, well, yeah, I did get the chance to see them Body Snatcher, that is, like last year, and I saw them in LA, and that venue I saw them at, it was a lot bigger, so like there's a lot more room for people to move around and do their shit. But this time when I saw them, it was in a bar, so I saw people like body slamming each other, fucking spin kicking each other. It was getting pretty intense.
That's what I love, though. I know that's not your scene, but to me that sounds like an incredible show.
It definitely was entertaining to watch.
Oh my god, just seeing people just go fucking nuts and flying off the stage is probably my favorite. Like I love when a band is like, all right, everyone get on stage and jump off. Like Knock Loose did that shit. It was nutty.
Yeah.
So like can you describe like each band's presence? Cause like Left to Suffer, I have high expectations for it, as well as Body Snatcher. Boundaries, not in like a negative way. It's just I've listened to a lot of their music and it's obviously really heavy, but like I haven't seen any live videos from them. I've seen live videos from Left to Suffer and Body Snatcher. So my expectations for them are where it's at. But can you go through what you saw and like what bands brought it and what did who didn't?
I mean, honestly, all the bands themselves brought it. It was just more the crowd, like that I was at. Like there was two sides of like crowds, I guess you can say, where I was at. I was on like the calmer side, and so fucking it was definitely taking a while. Like Mouth for War and Left to Suffer, like everyone was still moshing and moving, but it didn't really get as intense on my side until Boundaries came on. Then that's when like the crowd really got alive.
Well, that fucked me up. Well, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. How you said it was a bar? Was it like how far away was the bar versus the actual stage?
It was literally like not even like probably like a couple feet, like not that far at all.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Like I was right next to it.
So you're like elbow on the bar, watching the shit as it happened. Oh
yeah,
my God.
Elbow on the bar, and then the other elbow again on the people that are like running into me, moshing.
So did you see anything? Was there anything that stood out that was like, oh shit?
Probably just the body slamming. Honestly, that was really what
See,
I was like. Oh shit, this was
are people
intense.
getting picked up?
It was just one guy. He body slammed like 2-3 different people. Every time he just got in the middle of the pit, he was going in.
What the fuck is happening in California, bro? What is happening? That's fucking incredible. So like the videos you sent me and you showed on our Discord, which if you aren't in our Discords, you should definitely join our Discords. Links in the description. So like Left to Suffer, like they were, like they looked like they were kind of getting into it. Like they were really like the crowd did not look like it was standing still at all from any of the videos I saw, which is like obviously like what you want in that scenario. But like, was there like did Boundaries bring it the most? Did Body Snatcher play King of the Rats? And then everyone like where was it the most hype then?
Yeah, it was definitely, I would say, towards the end of the Boundaries set list and like the beginning of Body Snatcher. Like that was really when like a lot of people were like jumping on stage, like screaming the words and shit, and like jumping off the stage and shit, just punching each other, pushing each other. That was when shit was really popping off.
That makes me so happy.
Really not the fault of the bands though, because
no.
you gotta also remember, like, the crowd is like, when we're moshing, Joseph, we're fucking beat the shit.
Yeah.
Like dehydrated. We've been drinking nothing but alcohol. We need at least one bite of a burger.
Bruh. I always have a tendency, like whenever I'm in a pit with Marshall, though, like and I think it's very important to have like some type of buddy system, because like me and Marshall are lucky enough to know a lot of people in our scene and know a lot of people that we have just been to shows with religiously. Like we every time we won't talk to him for a whole year or so, but we'll see him at a show and we know what's up. And like anytime, like it's nice to have like a group that you can go into it with, and that's what I love about a pit. Because like anytime Marshall like fell down, I was like, oh, I gotta go get Marshall. Or like anytime I stumbled, Marshall would pick me up and throw me into the other direction to make sure I was good. Like there's a lot of like camaraderie in that sense. But body slamming though, I have never seen anybody just get.
Yeah, I was about to say, next time you fall down, I'm just gonna have to whoop your ass.
I'm all for it, man.
Yeah,
like
seeing
like
body
straight
slamming, that'd be a first
like
for me.
straight wrestling moves, like body to body fucking suplexing, just straight in the middle of the pit. I was like, okay, all right, this dude's I guess practices this.
California's on some bullshit, and I don't know nothing about that. What would you say is your favorite from that whole performance?
Probably definitely I would say Boundaries.
See, that
Just
that has
the
me
whole
so
set list
excited.
was
because,
incredible.
Like, I told you I had expectations for Body Snatcher and Left to Suffer. Now, like, I'm ready for Boundaries now. I gotta really get into it. I'm trying to go into some of it blind though. Like, I want to not do research on any of this shit. I kind of want to go, because the venue we're going to is I would argue maybe smaller than what you went to. I'd have to see pictures, I guess, but like
I think it probably is, because like I said, there was like definitely like two sides of my venue, and then like there was still like behind me that was still like a good size of the bar too.
The venue looks like that I'm going to looks like a garage with a bar in the very back. Like a very shitty looking bathroom,
it's
but
a very typical like punk rock venue.
Yes. I think that live shows have a tendency to get wild, especially when it comes to the metal scene, and I love that.
Oh yeah.
We talked a little bit about it last time about maybe going over some injuries or any kind of encounters that we've had, and I thought that would be a really fun way to kind of segue into it, is your experience with the show. Has anybody had a really bad injury in a pit or had something fucked up happen to them? Like, I've had several. I can go first if you guys want me to, but if anybody wants to take it first.
You
want me to take it first? I'll take it first.
You can go first.
The worst injury.
I've just had like funny experiences.
Nothing,
like I never got crazy.
Nothing has never happened to me, but I've seen plenty of crazy shit.
Yeah,
I've seen people get hurt. Yeah, for sure. But
yeah,
I'm with you, Marshall.
I'll go with my personal injury first, and then I would love to hear these encounters, because I have encounters as well, and I'll save those from later. But the worst injury I had, we used to go to this place called the Abbey in my town, and it's like an underground church like venue. Like it's like under a church in like the basement. And it was my second time seeing Kubla Khan, and they were a relatively small band. They had just got signed to who is it? I can't remember. They just
Rise.
I think it's Rise. I can't remember. They just got signed to them, and I remember Matt was bald, and I was like, he had no hair, and he was very scrawny. He was not shredded like he is now.
Oh fuck, okay.
And I had just really hardcore gotten into them, and I thought that they were incredible. I went with some friends of mine. They actually opened the show. And then Kubla Khan was the headliner. No, it was Kubla Khan, and then Norma Jean was the headliner, which Norma Jean was kind of wild as well. But
that's a sick.
It's kind of shitty, but I had just gotten dumped too at the time, so I was really fucking pissed. I was really angry. And Kubla Khan comes out. They open up with Eyes Up, which is their like 45-second intro. It's a fucking banger. I'm excited. I'm in the pit. It's a very underground thing, and they're not huge yet, so it's not a lot. It's like maybe 30 people there, 30 to 50 people. And there's a lot of people doing what Dennis would do and just kind of hang back and watch. But like me and my friends, we were in there, and I don't know what the fuck I did, but I remember I slipped, and there was like a column, like a pole kind of like that was like a support beam or some shit, and it was metal. I remember it was metal. And like I was kind of like, the slam dance thing where you like swing. I swing back, and I hit my shoulder, and my shoulder, I just hear like a little fucking knock, and I just go from this to limp. And I'm trying not to cry. Like there's girls there, so I'm trying to be cool. Like I'm sitting there, and my best friend Ian, he's there, and I pull him out of the pit. He's moshing. I'm pulling him with one arm. I'm like, hey man, emergency. He's like, what's wrong? I was like, I think I dislocated my shoulder. He goes, what? And he was like, Ian's very irrational. And Marshall would tell you, he's very hyper. And he's going to listen to this and be really mad. But he gets not even 2 seconds into me saying, I dislocated my shoulder. He grabs my shoulder and punches it. And I hear everything go back. And I can't explain. I was like, oh, shit. Like, it hurt that you punched me. But, like, I can move my shoulder again. He knocks it back into place. And then I go back and I go mosh. So, but that, like the immediate like knockback of it, my shoulder, I felt go out this way towards the socket. And then Ian punched it back into place. And I remember like having this adrenaline high all to hell. Like I'll never experience that kind of adrenaline again. After the show gets over, Matt and them, they do like, you know, they're sitting at their merch booth. They were a very small band. So they're like all kicking it. I go up to him. I tell him the whole story and he laughs. He gives me a free beanie and a free t-shirt. I still have the t-shirt in my closet. I lost the beanie. And he laughs at it, adds me on Facebook and Instagram, and me and him like low-key, not low-key, but like every now and then I can talk to him. Like the last time I saw him before the pandemic, it was at the end. And I texted him and we had drove all the way to Nashville and we didn't buy tickets in advance. We got to a burger shop that was across the street and I saw on Facebook, they were like sold out. And I was like, oh shit, the ticket sold out. I was gonna buy it at the door. I text Matt and I was like, hey man, can you get me in? I just drove here from Memphis. And like, he's like, yeah, no problem. He comes out, lets me and Tavia in, and then he compliments Tavia's shirt. She had a Kubicon shirt. I think she was wearing this one. I can't remember. And I was like, it's full fucking circle. This is the coolest thing ever. All that pain for like this triumphant return. Like I was so happy. I actually asked him the other day if he could make a onesie for Stella, and I don't know if he's gonna do it. We're gonna see. But that was the worst injury I had. The second to that was like I was at another venue and I slid on some beer or some shit, and this venue had like a little riser that was on the floor. Like it was off in the corner, but it was still it's at the High Tone. You know what I'm talking about, Marshall? Like there's that little riser where all the band would set their equipment. And I slid and my tailbone hit it and I could not move for like 30 minutes. Like it was the worst too. I had a fat ass knot on my butt. It's terrible. But that was not as bad as like my fucking shoulder being dislocated. But yeah, that was the worst I had. That was, oh God. All right. I want to hear y'all's encounters. I'm out of breath already.
Well, when I very first got into Whitechapel, all the way back into 2012.
It's always Whitechapel with you.
They had just released New Era of Corruption, and my pops at the time he was just getting into like harder music. Like his favorite band was like Bullet for My Valentine and All That Remains.
Oh shit!
So when I was listening to Whitechapel and Suicide Silence, he was like, "Man, this is just too crazy. I don't really want to mess with this right now." Now he thinks it's the coolest shit. But,
that's what's up.
I was
shit,
like
Pops. Shout out, Pops.
Yeah, I was begging him to take me and my friends to see Whitechapel at Newbies. It's not even there anymore. You remember Newbies?
Unfortunately, that disgusting place.
Unfortunately.
But it was the Plotting You, After the Burial, and I think it was Miss May I in Whitechapel.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, and we were moshing and just like light moshing, right? And Whitechapel came, and we were really in the thick of shit. So I was like fucking 13 at the time, and I was fucking jumping on stage. I remember fist bumping Phil Bozeman and jumped right off, and I landed back on my feet, and I turn around and I see Malik. You remember Malik?
I love Malik.
I see. You know
Shout
how
out
tall
Malik.
he is?
Yeah.
He's super tall, right?
Yeah.
I turn around. And this white dude comes out of nowhere, spinning high kick right into Malik's head.
Oh
and
no!
He's literally knocked unconscious, and like,
Bro.
and my dad took us there, and he's in the side, and he watches this happen, and my 13-year-old self is like trying to pick up this big ass dude. Come on, bro, and,
dude.
And my dad was like, "Man, that was crazy." I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be doing this for a long time."
Poor Malik. Oh my God.
Yeah,
so Malik was the same age as you, right?
I guess for like the first death metal experience and watching him getting knocked the fuck out, I kind of know what to do and how to avoid those situations.
Yeah, you're also like you can duck and dodge and all that shit.
I'm not strong, but I'm fast.
All right, Eric, hit me with yours. I want to know what you deal with.
Well, I got a few. The first one that I can remember was I think it was the first show I ever went to. It's kind of foggy for me, but I remember like the first club show, like, like 3 bands. It was single bill, like, the traditional type of show. I know the first band that I saw or that I was going to see was Bullet for My Valentine. And that was at the Warfield in San Francisco. And I must have been about the same age, Marshall, 12 or 13. Yeah, and that was amazing. That was Black Tide was opening, and then Bleeding Through.
Wow, I forgot all about Black Tide.
Yeah,
I still
Black
love
Tide.
Bleeding Through. They're cool.
Yep, same. Bleeding Through, and then Bullet for My Valentine. That was an incredible show.
That's a really
But,
good show. That was your first show?
That was one of them.
Okay,
One of them. I can't remember if that was the actual first or the Warped Tour that I went to with my cousin when I was about the same age. That's why I don't fucking remember. But yeah, it was my dad who purchased the tickets for that one. And he bought like, the upper level in the seats and shit. And I'm like, no,
lame.
no, dude.
Lame.
So yeah, that was the Bullet show. So nothing happened there. It was just an awesome show. But yeah, so Warped Tour, I was about the same age. And I remember like we were on a family vacation and my cousin was like, yeah, I'm going to Warped Tour. I was like, the fuck? What? I was like, can I go? And my mom was like, I don't know if I want to let you go to some big ass festival with your fucking cousin. You're like 11 or 12. I don't know if this is a good idea. I'm like, Mom, please, God, for the love of Christ. I was like, just fucking trust me, please. It'll be fine. And she said yes. I love you, Mom. But yeah, so
shout out, Mom.
So my cousin took me, and she was into bands like she liked Under Oath, and she at that time she really liked 303. You guys remember 303?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everybody
so,
remembers
yeah.
that.
I've seen them as well, yeah.
I saw him at Warped Tour one year.
We'll come back to that. But yeah, I was going because at that time I was super into Prada. I was really into Under Oath. I was really into Seosin. If you guys know
yeah,
Seosin.
absolutely. Had a conversation recently about Seosin.
Yeah, my first concert was actually the Devil Wears Prada. So
nice. That's a hell of a concert. So yeah, so those were the bands I was there to see. So anyway, it was like Under Oath was the first band that I saw there, and it was fucking incredible. And it was like this is one of the first, if not the first, festival experience I had. So I was like, wait a minute, I can crowd surf. Like I can get in the pit, I can do all these things. I was like, awesome. My cousin was freaking out, by the way. She's like, I don't want to take you home to your mom with like a fucking busted head, a broken arm, and shit. Yeah. She's like, chill out. I was like, no. So
how old is your cousin in that situation?
The whole fucking time. What did you say?
How old was your cousin?
She was, she must have been, I don't know, 19, 20?
Okay. So like that was probably the thing that your mom was like, oh, you're 19, cool.
Exactly.
Like you have somebody to watch.
Exactly.
Okay. I was just trying to is it two 12-year-olds going to Warped Tour by themselves?
I mean, how you think we got there, bro? You think a 12-year-old's driving?
Man, you can walk. I used to walk to the Nashville
California to Southerners is just like, oh, I can take a moped over here and go to the
No.
Pretty much. That's my thought process 90% of the time.
Anyway, so yeah, I was having fun. I was crowd surfing. It was a good time. Mind you, I was about 12, so I weighed maybe like 110 pounds. I was skinny, scrawny little fuck. So crowd surfing was very easy. But getting back to this, so it was a great day. Everything was fine. I didn't see anything crazy happen. But I remember when we were walking into the venue, there was some white girl wasted chicks that were just loud as fuck, obnoxious, really just low class shit. And I was like, okay, because I see that a lot, especially where I'm from. But these girls were something else. They were on like some other level. So I don't know why I had that in my mind still, but I saw these chicks in the 303 crowd because my cousin was like, I want to watch this band. I was like, fuck, you can make me sit through this? I was like, you took me here though. All right, I'll just continue to crowd surf the whole time. I'm not gonna watch this.
True.
So I did, and I was crowd surfing. It's all good. And I get up to these fucking chicks that I saw out in the front, and they drop me right on their heads.
Oh my God.
Then they had the nerve to get pissed at me. Like they start pushing me and shit. They're like, what the fuck? I'm like, bitch, you can't even hold me up. I was like, I'm 11. Fuck you. I was like, this is what you're supposed to do at a show, you dumbass bitch. I was fucking pissed. But yeah, so they pushed me and shit, and I had to like, I know, I'm still mad about it. And so I had to get out of the crowd, of course, and I went up to the barrier, hopped over it, and I was like, you know what, fuck these girls, I'm gonna keep doing this. So I did, and about 10 minutes later, I see both of them getting wheeled out on a stretcher, covered in fucking blood. And I'm like,
What?
Karma's a bitch.
What the fuck happened?
I have no idea what happened, bro. I just see them both get fucking wheeled out. Their heads are just covered in blood. I'm like, okay, well, I might believe in karma now.
Shout out White Girl Wasted.
White
Yeah.
Girl Wasted at
Yeah.
Warped Tour.
So yeah, so that was like that was like the first show. What if I still can't remember? I think Warped Tour was the first. I think Bullet was second. But yeah, so that was like the first experience I had with it. And goddamn, I learned a lot that day.
Yeah.
So you,
But
you saw like a original lineup Bullet too, huh?
yeah.
That's so
This
sick.
was they were touring Scream Aim Fire.
Oh,
so it was
man, they were still good. That's crazy.
Yeah, they were amazing. Yeah. I know shit's
I was
changed.
choking
but,
my beer, Marshall, you bitch.
And then I have like I was always fucked up with the later shows that we went to at the Ace of Spades in Sacramento. So it's like it's hard to kind of put memories together with those. But there are some things I remember. I remember being in like my first Wall of Death. That was an experience.
Ooh.
And I remember I was somewhat in the front. So when they said go, I drop kicked somebody. So
I love it.
I was
You
running
just
full
got it.
speed. Yeah, both legs up. Not even just like one little ninja kick or whatever. I fucking both legs were up and I fucking railed somebody. I don't even know who. It
Jesus.
just
You
This
did
is war,
not
motherfucker.
listen. You did not listen to the Redneck Ninja fool. You don't go ninja on nothing that don't need ninja.
What the fuck?
well, I ninja'd somebody, so it happened. And then there's at the same venue. There's another occurrence that I'm thinking of. So there was this chick who was like running the pit, dude. She was a fucking badass. She was short, you know, kind of pudgy, but backward snapback, fucking windbreaker, like hardcore kid.
Right.
For sure, a hardcore kid. And I'm like, I'm all right. Well, I'm all for equality, so I'm gonna get up in this bitch. So I did. And you know, everybody was doing their thing. It was a good time. And out of nowhere, I turned around and she fucking donkey kicks me, dude.
Damn.
So you know what that is, right?
Yeah,
Everybody knows what that is.
Yeet that
Yeah.
shit.
Yes, exactly. So you put your hands on the ground. For anybody who doesn't know what this is, you put your hands on the ground, one leg back, full force, and you know, obviously not on. It's a pit, dude. She didn't, you know.
If you're in my way, you're gonna
This
feel
guy,
it.
So yeah, and I was
Knocked
like,
you on your ass.
no, she got my stomach. She fucking connected. It was good.
Ooh.
I was like, oh motherfucker. So they finished their set. I can't remember who was on. I've seen so many bands there, but I went outside to have a cigarette, and it was just me and my homies chilling. She comes out there. I was like, I have to say something to her. So I went up to her, tapped her on the shoulder. I was like, hey, like you donkey kicked the shit out of me, and I love you for it. And she was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, and gave me a hug, and it was all good. But I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a better donkey kick in my life than the one that I just received.
People
I
have
was
a
like,
tendency
I
to
feel
really
honored.
show their colors when it comes to a pit, dude. I feel like that's the best way to express yourself in the sense like, oh, you're violent. Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're angry. I got you.
I'm throwing hands.
I used to go into pits angry, but nowadays it's more or less like I'm literally going out for fun. Like, well, except for the Knock Loose show, I was like, man, I've got like a year of being trapped in my home. I'm gonna rage. But like when I go see the show next week, I feel like I'll be more focused on the fun. Cause I have all this long hair, and my favorite thing is to jump up on like not jump on the stage, but like put my leg up on the like speaker and like just fucking headbang and just let all of my hair just go out. That's like a really freeing moment for me. It's the best.
Like a Baywatch moment.
Yeah, but
Slow
like,
motion.
You guys ever catch cosplay in the pit?
oh, 100%. Oh,
Cosplay.
I went to a festival one year, and he literally looked like Santa Claus. He was an older white dude with like
Oh god.
pudgy and stuff, and he had the beard and he had the whole get up, and it was during Slayer. It was fucking
Wow.
during Slayer, and it was amazing.
Santa threw down.
In fact, right in the middle of the pit was Santa and Jesus.
No
right there
shot.
during Slayer, and it was incredible.
My cosplay
these-
experience was a little bit off the wall. So I went to go see. Well, I didn't go. I didn't want to go. I found a reason to go. My ex wanted to go see ICP because they were at a venue or whatever. They were at High Tone. So that was a lot of cosplaying in one spot. But I went to go see Cane Hill, and 'cause I loved Cane Hill. I thought Cane Hill was incredible. So like I was like, okay,
They're
I'm
amazing.
gonna go to that show because of them. Like they were like the second band. They had some other rapper open up the show, and I was like, okay, cool. And I had no idea what like Juggalos did or what. I didn't even know about it. Like I was just like, okay, whatever. I just knew ICP was like not loved and not hated. There was a lot of this other stuff. But
Or both.
Yeah, or both. Yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll go. This will be cool. I go to the show and I get to see Cane Hill, and Cane Hill fucking rips. And I get kind of drunk at this show. I'm like having a good time. They finish up their set, and I watch ICP do their thing for a minute. The minute they start bringing out Fagos and they start spraying the whole crowd, I was like, all right, I'm bouncing. Like, you're not gonna get me all sticky, and I'm gonna go into my car. Like, no. So I go outside, and the vocalist, I can't remember his name, from Cane Hill's out there, and he's like, hey man, can I bum a cigarette from you? Because I was smoking at the time. I handed him a cigarette. Me and him smoked a cigarette. We talked about music and stuff, and then he went inside and was like, hey, I appreciate the smokes. We had a couple, and he bought me a few shots, and like I just got drunk with him. We just watched ICP, and I was like, hey man, why are you on this tour? And he's like, we need the exposure, to be honest. Like the more people we get in front of us, the better. And I was like, this is really cool. Speaking on first shows though, so like I'd been to a couple shows, and I had seen I've seen a lot of hardcore stuff. I'd seen beatdown stuff, or what I thought was beatdown at the time. And I'd seen some like old school, like emo scene stuff. I've seen that stuff. A friend of mine who I was in a band with, shout out my boy Aaron, he was like, hey, I'm gonna go see Clenched Fist tonight. And I was like, oh shit, cool. I don't know anything about him. And so I listened to a little Clenched Fist on the way, and I was like, oh, this sounds really good. This is hardcore. What I didn't know though was that Clenched Fist had a demographic of like older, bigger, stronger, like white men, like mean motherfuckers. So like I go to this show, and this was when the high tone was just super small, like just a rectangle, and that was it. And they didn't even have a bar. They would have like stands and shit outside if you wanted to drink. They didn't even have a bar inside, barely a bathroom. And I go to this show, and it's literally wall to wall. They start playing, and I watch at least 100 grown men. It's packed like fucking sardines in there. Just start marching back and forth, like going back and forth as they're playing. So my dumbass had a few drinks. I'm like maybe 19, 20 at the time. Don't drink underage, kids. And I could go into this. Like I weigh $150, by the way, in case anybody wants to know. I'm scrawny as shit. And I get into that pit. I get my fucking ass railed, dude. I mean, like I'm getting shoved. I'm getting pushed. Big fucking dudes are rubbing their sweaty arms on me, and like I'm just like, this is fucking wild. I can't do this. Like, at one point, I get lost. Like I'm like lost in this pit. I'm trying to get out. And I'm like, please, God. And then my boy Aaron he's a big dude too. He snatches me and picks me up and like drops me over to the side. And I remember just being like, oh shit, oh, like fucking losing it. And Clenched Fist to this day was a brutal fucking show.
That's funny. Because like on a different vibe, like I remember a couple of those moments for me. I remember this was at another Warped Tour. It was of Mice and Men, and they were still touring the Flood. And this was like at their prime, dude. Like fucking prime. And they had that Warped Tour style of, or that section of the song. I think it's still YDGing. It was like, I go hard in the motherfucking paint. Word I will never say. So yeah, and it was crazy, dude. But they opened up, and I remember being like, I was like mid crowd. Like normally I'm either kind of in the back or I'm in the front. That's right in the center. Unless I'm in a pit, I'm not gonna stand there. It's just fucking, it's no good.
True.
But I couldn't move anywhere. So they started, and it was like that sardine thing you were talking about. But it's like, I've been to a lot of shows. This was different. Like I couldn't
I'm in danger.
fucking move. I couldn't move, dude. And I couldn't even breathe. Like there were so many people around me that it's almost like they were taking all the oxygen. Like it was fucking crazy. So that was one of like the first kind of fight or flight moments that I ever had. And I literally fought my way out of the crowd because I couldn't go forward. It was too packed. So I had to fight my way out of the crowd towards the back. And I feel sorry for anybody who I hit. I apologize. I don't know. I'm sorry.
If you're listening.
But I was swinging left and right for a good, I don't know, maybe 15 to 30 seconds trying to get the fuck out of there. And I did. It was fine. But it's those festival type things. Yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely had the mosh out of a couple of mosh pits myself.
Let me out.
Give me the fuck out of here.
Yep. Pretty much.
You ever
Pretty
do
much.
that thing where you like jump really hard, like and grab somebody's shoulder, like let me just fucking squeeze through here? And just
Oh
jump?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
if it really had to come down to it, my scrawny ass would just be like, "Lift me up, bud. I need to get the fuck out of here.
I don't think
Cow
I've
surf me to another place."
I don't think I've had the cough help outside of the clenched fist one where I was like, I'm gonna die. I've been in a few situations. The first wall of death for me was like I saw it was Bring Me the Horizon was headlining, and it was when they were on Suicide Season, and they were touring that. And I was at the New Daisy, and it was fucking incredible. And Mice and Men was at that show as well. They were co-headlining, and they played YDG, and it was fucking crazy. I loved seeing that. I have that on my YouTube channel somewhere. I recorded it like live, and it's just on private. I never posted it. But Ollie was like, he did something really cool and then really shitty for me, and I'll never forget it. They played Diamonds Aren't Forever, and he was like, I want everyone to come up here and give me a high five or whatever. No, what was it? Yeah, it was that song. I'm pretty sure it was that song. And he was like, I want everyone to come up here and high five me. So I immediately jump up. I'm trying to get over there and try to I get the high five, and then as I'm walking back to get into the pit and stuff again, he's like, all right. And then the breakdown kind of gets ready to start. He's like, all right, push it back. Everyone split, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like right there, and I'm like, oh shit, like I don't know what this is. I didn't know what it truly was until it happened. And I was like, okay, this looks cool. Like, are we all gonna just run into the middle and just start moshing? But no, everyone was going full force. So everyone starts, when he calls in the breakdown, everyone goes in, and I see it, and I just had this epiphany of like, all right, fuck it. So to attribute to your fucking dive kick, I run up with an elbow. I jump up and like elbow somebody, and I'm pretty sure I felt something connect because my funny bone was fucking ringing. And that was like a moment of clarity. I was like, this I think that was the moment I was like, I fucking love this. This is the coolest shit ever. Like, I love going to shows. Like, that was like, I think it was like maybe the third or fourth show I had went to at that time. And that was like a big band for me that like shaped how I like a lot of the music now. And that was so fucking cool. I loved that whole wall of death situation.
There's something about sanctioned violence.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I'd love to attribute is the whole Warped Tour thing. I think we could have a whole podcast on Warped Tour. I don't know if you guys, how many of you Warped Tours have you guys been to, if any?
Too many.
0.
I've never been to one. Yeah.
I really wish they
Oh,
would
you
bring
played
that bitch
one?
back.
That's crazy.
You played one? I need to hear this story.
I played one. Oh, this is okay. All right, I'll try and shorten it up. And I got to remember that you know what? I don't care about hurting anybody's feelings. Fuck it. So I still have a friend of mine. He works for Caliber TV. Actually, he's an editor. He films stuff. He's really, really talented. Good dude as well. I've known him. We've known each other since we were little kids. So he knew this group. I should probably not name names.
Okay, fair.
So yeah, I won't do that. I'll tell you guys. I mean, I'm trying to fuck it. She's a YouTuber as well. But she had a band back then called Morning Lilith. Her name's K something.
Shout out K.
I think she goes by just the letter K though on like YouTube and Instagram and shit like that. But he knew her, and she lived in the States, but her band was from Australia. So they got this deal for Warped Tour. I don't know how they got it. It's probably some online thing, I think, if I remember correctly.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so they got, and it was supposed to be one show in Mountain View. Dennis, you probably know where I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
yeah, you two Southerners. It's towards the Bay Area. It's a really nice venue actually. And I had been to many Warped Tours there before. So, and he was like, hey Eric, these guys need a drummer. Their drummer can't come. There's some visa issue or something, or he just can't make it. They said, do you know a drummer? And I said, yeah, I know a drummer. So do you want to play this show? And this was fucking horrible timing, by the way, because this is 2014, my senior year of high school. And I was just about to go on my senior trip, which, by the way, I didn't want to go on. And that's a whole nother story.
All right, fair.
Fucking bullshit. But anyway, so I was like, fuck, dude, like, I'm going to regret this for the rest of my life if I don't do this. So I was like, shit, all right. Okay, yeah, I'll do it. So I go on my senior trip. They send me the songs. I'm like, okay, I don't have a fucking drum kit here. So I'm trying to listen to stuff and learn. It's not like it was hard, but this was like one of the first real shows I had ever played. And I was fucking terrified. I was like, I can't like, it's not just me. Like if it was just me, that'd be one thing. But like I had a whole group of people who I don't know writing on me, being able to learn these songs, and being a drummer also goes into play. Like if you fuck up,
it's
everybody
noticeable.
hears it.
Yeah,
like
it's very noticeable if a drummer fucks up. Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of pressure, but so I only had really about 4 days to practice these songs and learn a whole set. So that was
4 days.
4 days.
Holy shit!
Fuck yeah.
So,
Try to get me to edit a video in 4 days. I'm like, I don't know about that, Chief. Like, god damn.
Yeah, it was crazy, man.
How many?
So I got back.
How many songs was it?
How many songs?
Yeah, how many songs?
I think
did
it was about 6. About 6 songs.
Bruh, are you kidding me? That's fucking nuts.
Yeah.
How
so
did it go?
Got back from my senior trip. Fucking just sat at the kit, did nothing else other than that, basically for 4 days, trying to get as good as I could and as comfortable as I could with these songs. And then they flew in, and obviously, they didn't have a place to stay or anything like that. This was super bare bones shit. So I was still living with my parents at the time. So they came there, and they came the night before at like 12 a.m. or something like that. The night before the show at 12 a.m.
Wow.
So we had what, 3 hours to practice, maybe 2 hours to sleep, and we had to hit the fucking road. So
Jesus.
Mind you, nightmare. Anyway, so we did that. We get on the road. I'm tired as shit. Obviously I shouldn't be driving. I'm all fucked up. So we get there. We get into the parking lot. This is all just surreal at this time. And then we park in the parking lot, and I was like, I'm gonna try and get some sleep. So I tried to sleep in my truck a little bit, and like I said, it was just a whole surreal experience. And then it starts getting closer to when we're gonna play and stuff like that. And then I'm like, fuck, dude, like I'm nervous. Like I don't think I've ever been this nervous in my life before. And mainly it's because, like I said before, these guys are riding on me, and I don't want to let them down.
So it's not necessarily the crowd or the festival part of it. It's like, oh, okay, these folks are depending on me to get what they need out of it. Okay.
Yeah, and they traveled from Australia.
Yeah,
So they got here, and mind you, in context, I didn't really get along. Like these were scene kids.
Oh, okay.
They were the emo shit, the straight black hair, fucking tight ass jeans.
Go like,
and I'm over here like in a cut off neck shirt with a fucking goatee and a backward snapback. Like I'm a douchey bro, and these guys are like, fucking scene kids.
Raw XD.
So we weren't just loving each other's company to begin with. There was one of them though. It was the bass player. He wasn't a scene. He almost seemed like a death metal guy to me, but I actually liked him. He was really nice. The other two were meh, and then Kay, don't even want to talk about it. So it gets closer to the show, and I'm like, fuck. So I put my headphones in. I'm like, fuck. All right. So this is how this part goes. This is how this part goes. Bottom line, I didn't fuck up. I messed up once, but I don't think anybody really knew about it unless I told them. And it didn't ruin the show or anything.
Out of 6 songs though, so and like one fuck up though, that's a pretty good percentage of you not fucking up.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
That's phenomenal, honestly. I think even professional bands, their drummers, everyone makes mistakes when it comes to that kind of thing. So that's incredible.
But there was other things other than worrying about fucking up myself, like Issues. Like she was good friends with the band Issues.
Yeah.
And they came side stage and they watched our whole fucking set. I'm like,
wow.
Fuck.
And then Jeffree Star, for some reason, also was like backstage watching our shit. So I was like, what am I like? Okay, all right. It was a good show. We had a really good turnout too. The whole thing is filmed and it's on YouTube, and it's it's there.
That's
check it out
awesome.
if you want.
I'm definitely gonna check that out after this podcast.
Yeah, but after that show, the owners or the promoters of the stage that we were on, they were like, "Hey, we have a next date, or tomorrow is in LA. Like, you guys fucking killed it. Would you guys want to go to LA?" And at this point, I was like, "No."
Really? So what was the reasoning?
Many things. First of all, I didn't at that point. I was like, okay, you know what? I got to look out for myself here. I did what I signed up to do. I'm a man of my word. I finished. I followed through with what I said I was going to do. That was the main thing for me, which was one show. I know you guys traveled all this way, but that's not what I fucking signed up for. You want me to drive all of you to fucking LA, which is 7.5 hours from where we were at, with all our shit. And what the fuck are we gonna do? Where are we gonna stay? I don't have fucking money. Like, it was all the logistic sides of things. I was like, I'm not even gonna try and figure this out for you guys. I did what I said I was gonna do. I'm sorry. I know you traveled a long way. That's the end of it. So I was just like, okay, well, I had a good time. I hope I didn't fuck it up too bad for you guys. So I'm gonna take off. And I haven't talked to any of them since.
Do you know what happened? Do you know if they were able to go to that next location or no?
They went to the next location. I don't know if all of them did. I know Kay did. I think the others might have just gone back to the airport and gone home. I don't know if they all went there. I don't know.
That's crazy.
But
I respect you
yeah,
for that though. I really do respect that, like that grit of being like, hey, this is what I was supposed to do. I held my end of the bargain. Like I respect the fuck out of that. That's that level of temptation for me. I'd be like if, well, I wouldn't say just me, but like just anybody that is, you know, loving that scene or loving music, especially Warped Tour. Like you think that's where a lot of big bands have come up. Like No Doubt, you've had bands like Green Day and a whole bunch of other bands that have played those shows and like gone on to do big, great things. Like it's an intimidating platter of things to take, but that's incredible. Like I commend you on the fact that you're like, I did my part. It's just a lot of stuff that I can't really do, you know, for like you're talking about 3 to 4 other people, something like that, and having to take care of them. And of course they're from Australia, so like they don't know the ins and outs of how things are done in the States. It's a lot of responsibility. Right. People got to eat, people got to sleep. I respect the fuck out of you for being like, hey, I got to stick to what I can do. Like, cause
it
means a lot.
19.
I was 18.
Wow. 18, and they were like, yeah, let's trust this kid to like, you know, drag us all the way across fucking California.
Well, you got to understand, like you see that kind of thing happen with bands all the time, especially newer bands that are going on tour for the first or second time. Like I've had, we were at my buddy Adam's house. Shout out Adam. We had Barrier sleep at Adam's house. They would
I feel like
crash there.
That's more common than
what I'm saying is like that culture is very prominent. People expect like, oh, I'm your favorite band, you'll take care of me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, or whatever.
A long time ago, David Davis, he had dang, what was that band? So This Is Suffering. They had slept over at his house one time.
Yeah,
a long time.
See
ago.
you see that kind of thing happen pretty commonly. So like, most people would be like, hey, I'll do it, but I respect the fuck out of you for not being disingenuous.
I appreciate that because I still think about it and I'm like,
what
you know, part of me was like, you know, it's like this is for them. Like I think about, was it a selfish thing or was it just, you know, what was best for me? And sometimes you got to make those decisions. And I still think to this day, at the end of the day, I made the right one for myself.
I think so.
I think it doesn't really matter at this point. And I want to say too, like these people, I'm sure they're good people. It's just, we didn't fucking connect. Like there was no future in this for me. This was basically me going out of my way, spending my money, taking my time. Everything was falling on me.
Yeah.
To do this shit for these guys.
You weren't like an honorary band member from this, like, you know, like, oh, he did the show, cool, he's in the band. It was like, hey, appreciate you for being a sub. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it wasn't even that. Like the singer, they thanked me, you know, a couple times, but during the whole thing, they were just like kind of rolling with it, and like part of me was like, okay, I would have appreciated a little bit more of, you know, hey, thank you for, you know, taking 2 whole days out of your life, taking your car, stacking all of our shit, driving us, being our drummer for the day, learning our songs in 4 days. Like, there was a lot of shit there. So I was just mixed signals and stuff like that. It was an interesting experience though, and I don't regret it because I learned everything that I needed to learn about the music industry in
100%.
About 24 hours.
Did you get paid for it at all?
No.
Wow. No one like, hey, here's some gas money.
Nope.
Wow, that's fucking wild. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think in that, if I was in your shoes in that situation, I probably would have ended up doing the same thing. I think I would have. I probably would have. It just depends because temptation is a motherfucker when it comes to that kind of thing. Like I definitely, again, that adrenaline and that high. But I think as a realization goes, like, okay, I'm not a band member. I'm not getting anything out of this. I'm literally just helping them out.
If it was my band, I'd 100% probably would have handled it differently. But this wasn't my shit. Like I was a fill-in for one show. That's it.
And
So,
I think you did
yeah,
the
it
right
just-
thing all in all, though. Like, I actually, I wouldn't even say I think. I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure, actually, that you did the right thing. Because I think you probably would have been strung out to go out another 7 hours, do another show, be even more tired. And you could, I've seen bands have a whole bunch of fucked up things happen to them to where, like, I'm not wishing this upon anybody, but like I've seen that kind of thing where you drive all these hours and do all these things that you got to do, and you get groggy, you get tired. The tour life will wear you out. I've been on a few tours myself with having to work at the production company and stuff, and it's grueling to a certain sense, even for the, like, on my end, I was just working as a roadie, but that stuff is grueling, especially for the band. Like, it's going for an hour on some shows, but like Warped Tour is what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes a set. But you're
Yeah, it's about 30
really
minutes.
trying to do everything. You're literally putting all of it out there, and then you gotta go do it again. And Warped Tour is very rapid. It's not a slow down tour. They have 40 cities to go hit, and they have to hit them all in unison. You have to stick to that schedule.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Kevin Lyman, the owner and founder, the last Warped Tour that they did when they were in Nashville, and I got a picture of him. It's on my Instagram. If you're not on my Instagram, go check out my Instagram. I have a picture with Kevin Lyman. I had about a 25-minute conversation with him about like why he was quitting. He said it's a lot of fucking fun to do Warped Tour, but it's really fucking stressful. There's so many things that one person has to worry about when it comes to scheduling, food, catering, sound, everything. Like everything has to run on a dime, man. Everything's got to be perfect, and that was enlightening for me in that sense that I understood why Warped Tour ended. I hate it because I thought it was such a good safe haven for people, and we could talk forever about why Warped Tour was what it was. And I've been to several myself. I first went like in 2012 and had a blast. I saw a lot of my favorite bands. I went every year that it came through anywhere near me. I actually had the cool chance to go into the I used to go to the Nashville one, but I went to the Dallas one time and got to see some of my favorite bands. I got to see a lot of crazy shit. I got to hang out, and like the connections you build at Warped Tour were so incredible. I was working for a shoe company. I was working for Journeys at the time, and they sponsored it eventually. So I had access to everything. So like if I went to when I went to the Nashville one the last time, I had a green pass that I could go and hang out in any backstage I wanted to. And because I was an employee of the company that they were sponsoring the whole thing, I got to meet everybody. I got to hang out with Beartooth. I got to hang out with Kubakan. I got to hang out with fucking I got to see Issues and go hang out with them before all the crazy stuff happened and they didn't have Michael anymore. I got to really experience what that whole scene could really be, and it was so fucking incredible, and I'll cherish those memories forever. One of my favorite things, I got to meet Sworn In, and at the time Sworn In was one of my favorite bands. I love Tyler Denton. To this day we're friends on Twitter, which we follow each other on Twitter, and I love him. And I got to hang out with him for a minute. We got to talk some of his art, because his art outside of just music was incredible. I have you can't see it on screen, but there's a tank top I got from his clothing company. The whole band signed it. They took a picture with me. They were so fucking nice, and like it was just, if I went to any other show and had to pay for a VIP package, I don't feel like it's genuine. You know what I'm saying? Like I've done that a few times too, but Warped Tour had a sense of just community. It was so fucking cool, and I wish that they would bring it back in a newer way that's easier for everybody, because I know the work is really hard. I mean, like I said, you have all the crew members and all the roadies and everybody. 40 cities is a fucking lot. Like
It is.
that's
definitely.
the average tour, if you're lucky, will maybe do 20 cities, 25.
Yeah.
But 40 you have 40 bands and everybody that comes along with it, tour buses, gas money, all that shit is a lot. So I mean, Warped Tour, I hate that it's gone, but I'm glad I got to live to see that kind of thing. I'm really grateful
Is
that
it
you
gone?
got to. It's gone. They stopped like a couple years ago.
They always talk
But-
about bringing it back with other musicians,
Yeah.
like sponsoring it and shit like that.
Franz from
I
Attila
still-
is talking about buying the tour and buying it from
Hold
Kevin
on.
Lyman and doing it himself.
I was seeing Warped Tour footage from last year. Are they?
They did a anniversary
just
show.
clickbait shit?
They did an anniversary show that was like maybe 2 or 3 cities or something, and it was not that many bands. I don't know if it was last year because of COVID. It might have been the year before that you're thinking of. They did a 20th
2019
year.
probably.
They did a 20th anniversary something tour. I think it was 20 years,
Yeah, that sounds
20 or
about
25.
right.
25 years. Yeah.
25 years. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's-
they did an anniversary show and it was a
There's
couple
bunch of
cities.
bands on here.
It was I didn't get a chance to see that. I wanted to, but Yeah, Warped Tour was incredible. If you never got to experience Warped Tour, you missed an incredible lineage of just amazing music. Like I said, there's a lot of bands that started and got their kickstart on Warped Tour and are the bands they are now. And if you did get to go to Warped Tour, please throw down in the comments. I want to know your Warped Tour experience or your favorite Warped Tour experience. I think that if you're a fan of the metal scene or whatever, you're a fan of Warped Tour and you understand what that culture is. It's fucking incredible. I loved it. I used to get a lot of fucking t-shirts from Warped Tour. God. I will say this though, the last Warped Tour I went to, I got so fucking wasted. It was the first time I was like legal age. I think I was like 22, but I was like, oh, this is my first Warped Tour. I get to really get trashed. And I remember just drinking Budweisers because that's all they fucking had, and it was so fucking funny. And I remember there's pictures of me on my Instagram. Go to my Instagram. It got so fucking hot in Nashville because at their venue or at their location, they were on the raceway. So it's like one patch of grass, all concrete. It was so goddamn hot. And it rained the night before, so it was humid as fuck. I remember taking my shirt off, throwing my backpack on, and just pounding Budweisers like it was nobody's fucking business. And I just got annihilated. Kubicon set was fucking great too. And I got to see Dance Gavin dance for the first time there, and that was cool. Warped Tour was such a fucking experience, man. I really do hope they bring it back, but I hope if they do bring it back, I hope they keep that same spirit and they can pay everybody and everybody's good.
Yeah.
We definitely should talk festivals in the future. We got about 10 more minutes left on the pod, but I love this stuff, man. I love talking about this. Festivals are really cool. I could tell you about my experience at Riot Fest, or not? Was it Riot? No, it was Carolina Rebellion. Oh my god, that shit was wild too. Oh fuck.
Yeah, I've never been to a metal festival. I've only been to like a hip hop rap festival so far.
It's probably similar to what we're talking about because what they usually do is they'll have multiple stages. Is that right, Dennis? Like, did they have a lot of? Yeah, multiple stages, multiple times. They give you a schedule when you get there, and you can fucking see what band is what. But like, Warped Tour had like, I want to say 12 to 15 stages, something like that, and then all of these fucking booths, and they had all these different things you can go do. Like, it was like a fucking fair. Like, you had games you can go play. You had merchant booths that you can go buy different stuff from bands. You can do all that kind of shit. It was so fucking cool. It was a good time. Definitely gonna miss Warped Tour, but yeah, Carolina Rebellion was wild too for me. That was like the first time I got to see Rob Zombie, which I was a huge Rob Zombie fan growing up. I got to see Korn. I saw Godsmack, which was really cool. Like, just seeing some of like the bands you kind of learn about early on, like that was a fucking enlightening experience for me. I thought that was fucking rad. Has anybody else had any other festivals, or was it just Warped Tour for you, Eric?
For me, yeah, festival wise, it was just Warped Tour.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, like sometimes I miss it. Like, it ended at an okay time for me because like I'm just over people at this point. Like, we've had that discussion last podcast of like, everything that goes into, making a day out of something.
Right.
And I'm just not about it anymore. And sometimes I miss being in that mindset. Like, just fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's just have a good time. It's not me anymore. Like, I'm just too fucking.
Yeah.
I think and also I just have like such a sour taste in my mouth about, because I spent my whole life thinking I was going to be a musician and planning for that. And then I experienced the Warped Tour thing, playing like a first legitimate live show, and then going to school for music and learning kind of the ins and outs of the business side of things. And it was probably like one of the most crushing things that I've ever been through as a person. Like, I've been through some shit, but this one was different. It was like a psychological thing because this is what I'd been preparing my whole life for. And that's basically at that point, like, all I was good at. And I focused all of my energy on it. And to learn with, in about a year and a half, what I had been preparing for 20 years, that it wasn't for me, like, it was rough, man. So I still have like a pretty, like, and I still make music and release it on my own time and shit, but that's just for my own creative outlet. I have no desire to go on tour. I have no desire to have a career in music the traditional way. I just don't fucking care anymore. So I kind of miss caring about those things. But for me, it's impossible to go back knowing what I know. So it's like a bittersweet situation for me.
I understand. I have a similar story, not necessarily with the music, but just life in general. We could talk about that next podcast as well. But I definitely think that I hate to sound like one of those people, but it's one of those things, like, everything happens for a reason, because was led to believe the same thing, that like this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life, and it didn't turn out that way. But to harp on music and to kind of piggyback off what you were just saying, I am in that spectrum. I guess it might just be my personality. I am a people person to a certain degree. I don't love people, but I can sit there and finesse my way into most conversations or out of conversations. Like,
You're for sure a people person.
Yeah,
There is no argument there. Yeah.
working in sales, baby.
I don't know
You have to
why
learn.
he always does that.
What?
You say I don't feel like I talk all that much and
Yeah,
you know,
bullshit.
care
He's a
for
people person.
and no,
I-
you love people. Shut it up. Chad.
I'm a lot more guarded now that I'm a dad. I will say that. I think that that's changed my perception a little bit. I don't want. It sounds cheesy. I don't want my daughter to be like the same way as me. Like, I don't want her to be super positive like me when it comes to people. I want her to be understanding and defensive and being able to take care of herself. But like, to harp on like the whole going to shows and stuff like that, I want to show my daughter that. I want her to, it's just like those, this is a shitty way to compare, but like, it's just like kids today when they don't go outside and play. They just fucking play video games, which is fine. Games is cool. But, I would much rather like go outside and go do some shit or go, out. Like, I like to go out every now and then and go play pool with some friends or go with we have an axe throwing place down here. We like to go do every now and then. Like, I want to be able to take my daughter to shows and stuff or take her to festivals, let her experience a little bit of what I experienced back in the day. And I know that's not fair to compare it to what you guys are talking about because y'all don't have kids, but that's my mindset is like, there's more to just what's in our home. There's a lot more out there that you can go to, and you might get lucky and find some stuff that really interests you. Like, I hope I can take Stella to a show and she's like, I want to do music. Like, I would love for her to have that experience and that be her inspiration or whatever the case is. And festivals and all that other stuff, there's a marketing to it that like it helped me navigate my way of like, how do I talk to people? How do I, like, these people are from whatever state or whatever country, and I'm having a conversation with them, learning more about them in order to not just better myself, but better understand certain scenarios and stuff like that. And that helped me going into the music industry, learning everything as a roadie. Some people want to be talked to this way or you need to know how to navigate this kind of walk of life. There's a lot of pros and cons to it in that sense. And I agree with what you're saying. Like, yeah, fuck shows and fuck people in that sense. But like, I think there's some merit to it as well. I think that there's, like if you went to a show nowadays, I think your perception wouldn't be as negative as you're portraying it to be. Or, I'm saying, I think you would genuinely have a good time. I feel like you're a good enough dude that you would enjoy yourself. You'd find a way to enjoy yourself.
Yeah. I mean, if I was that bitter about it, I would have been out of this completely. I'm still, involved with music, and I still make music, and I still, everything I do is still revolved around music. So there's still a love for the passion there.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get anything fucked up. Like,
my bad.
No, it's good. I don't want to get anything fucked up. Like, I'm not saying, I knew it was going to be difficult. I knew everything you do in life, basically, that has meaning or that's worth it is going to be difficult. I didn't have any misconceptions there going into the music industry. It's just, there's some things that I learned that I didn't want to be a part of. Like, morally, the most things that I would have had to have done, I'm not okay with doing. And I don't care how much money it involves or how much clout or notoriety or fame or whatever comes along with that. That doesn't fucking matter to me. Some things I'm not okay. Some things I'm just not okay with doing them. Yeah. And I learned most of the things that I would have had to have done, I wouldn't want to do, or I'm not okay with doing. So learning all of that in such a short period of time was pretty drastic for me to experience at that time in my life. Plus, I mean, you're just coming out of high school. Like, that's when you're thrown into the shit. Like, no matter what you're doing, if you go straight to the workforce, if you go to school, whatever, like, that's a pinnacle moment in your life. And mine, it is what it is. And I'm not super bitter about it. I'm glad that it happened because I'd still make the same decision. And I like what I do now. And I'm not saying like fuck everybody or fuck shows or anything like that. I'm not saying that. It's just, it's not for me anymore. Like,
yeah, you're just not personally interested anymore.
Right. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
I understand that. And like we talked about, like, driving to a show for you is what, 2 hours, 3 hours. I understand all that. I'm just saying that there's still, it sounds petty, but it's like there's still something to be gained from it. Like, I feel like,
I mean, that's petty. Like like me not wanting to drive 2.5 hours to go see a show. That's petty. Like that's first world problem shit. Like you should not be
Fair.
complaining about that. But I do. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I can stay home. I can fucking drink by myself and do my work and
Yeah, I
hang out with
understand
my
that.
wife, and that's good enough for me, bro.
Yeah.
I by all means, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to throw your life into it, but I'm just saying, like, I was having a conversation with my wife about it, about like she's like, oh, I'm not really feeling inspired to do anything crazy with my art projects or anything. I was like, you need to throw yourself in an environment where you might feel inspired. Like being inside the house is not going to do it for you sometimes, because you're not surfing the web, you're not doing all these things. Like go out. Look, we went to an art show yesterday and it was fun. We got to go see different stuff, and we got a chance. It was a chance for her to kind of get newly inspired on stuff. And it's the same thing for me. Whenever I want to creatively get inspired, I take a few days off of whatever I'm doing. I try to get out and do something. I recently took that week off, and that's what I did. Is like I worked on a few projects when I had time at home, but I was also trying to watch new stuff on this and try to get inspired on how I want to do this, or trying to get myself into the motion of things again and switch it up, give myself a chance to recharge. Because I feel like no matter what you're doing creatively, that is important, is to give yourself some time to pause. You need a minute to breathe. And I had a conversation with Marshall about it not too long ago, about take some time for yourself. It's not just mentally and mental health wise, but more or less, which we could talk mental health forever too, but it's one of those things that, everybody needs to do it, but it's so frowned upon. But I think getting inspired, I think if you went to a show today, I think you would get inspired. I think you're a very creative person in that, and you would definitely find something. Okay, this is cool. I kind of like how they did this. What if I did it like this though? Or like, I know, like I said, I'm just picking on you in that sense, but I don't know. I just know that like you're a good dude, and I feel like you would take it upon yourself, and you'd be like, you know what, fucking Joe was
I
right.
wouldn't be so sure, Joe. No.
Evil.
I get what you're saying, and
Yeah.
that is important. But I think also, like, as you get older and you experience life a little bit more, the more times you go around the sun, like you start understanding the things that do inspire you. And
That's a good counter. I like that.
Yeah, it can become a habitual behavior. Like there's some things that I know if I go into it, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is it for me. I'm gonna get some creative juices flowing. I know that this is going to inspire me to do something. And just even listening to music or watching a music video or talking with people on stream or hopping into the Discord for a second, or like I know my routine at this point, the things that I need to do to be able to, and work ethic comes along with that as well, because I think you guys will understand as well. Like we're all, for lack of a better term, artists in our own right. I fucking hate using that word. It's so stupid, but
Content
I can't
creator.
think of anything else to use. But like you get to that point to where
I'm sorry.
sometimes you have to force yourself to be creative. And the
That's
first
true.
time you do that, it's difficult. Like sometimes you're not going to get that spark and be like, oh, I got an idea. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to build on. It doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes you have to build up your work ethic to be like, okay, I need to sit down and figure this the fuck out, no matter how long it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And there's many times where I have to go through that as well. So it's kind of finding that balance.
100%.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
the last thing we could talk about, like I said, we're way past our hour mark now, but we'll definitely, I want to harp more on this kind of stuff in the future. I think down below, I want to know your Warped Tour experiences. I want to know what drives you inspirationally if you're into any kind of creative field. I want to know exactly what you guys are talking about. We could definitely go through the comments in one future episode and kind of have a discussion with the audience. And we've talked about doing live stuff and having live feedback, and I think that'd be a lot of fun. But next time we'll talk a little bit more about some live show experiences. I think there's more that we could have about festivals and things like that, or things that we're looking forward to. I think there's a lot that we could dive into, and I think metal music is a good jumping point from that. It's just there's an ever evolving hype built around metal, and it's been going up ever since lately. It's just nice to see that metal's had more of an influence on pop culture, and it's really fucking cool. So I definitely think we can have some more conversations on this, but next time you guys will catch us on this kind of crazy adventures, like always. I'm kind of buzzed. I'm tripping. Anyway, quick reminder that you can find all of us on Twitch. We all stream on Twitch. I'm live every Thursday and Saturday at X Superhero Joe X, Marshall at Chiplet 6, the number 6 IX, and YTX at YTX. You can also follow our moderator Dennis at what is it? What it is 98. I'll be forgetting.
Yeah.
What it is 98. Appreciate everybody listening to the podcast today. We'll catch you next time. See you
Later.
Peace.